three of mind. The first one is what they call craving, or coveting, sometimes coveting. And the way my teacher always explains this is very, very good. Because craving and coveting sounds like, you know, that, well, I don't know, how many times do we crave during the course of a day? You know, not that many. And coveting too, I don't even know what coveting actually means very much. But usually, here's a way to think about it. Being unhappy about other people's happiness. Being unhappy about something that's making someone else happy. And that we do on a pretty regular basis. You know, it's completely perverse. Their happiness doesn't detract from ours. It's not like they got a new car and you didn't, means that they got a new car and so you couldn't. It's not like that, right? So when they get a new car and you didn't get a new car, just be happy for their new car. It's going to cause them suffering within about 3 months anyway. Right? So what's the point of, like, you know, having some kind of like big resentment about something that, you know, brings somebody a little bit of pleasure for just a little while before it starts bringing them pain? Just be happy. Oh, well, that's great. I'm glad you got a new car. See? Then the second one is the opposite. Sometimes they call this ill will. Ill will. Being happy about somebody else's pain, unhappiness. And that also kind of describes most of what passes as news and modern entertainment. Taking pleasure in other people's pain. History will look back at us in exactly the way that we think about the Romans. Exactly. They'll look back at us and they'll see our gladiator games. And it's movies. It's the best movies of the year. Our gladiator games. Watching other people suffer for our amusement. And CNN. CNN also. You know, here's the test on that. Like, no, I need to be informed. Well, let's see. Are you going to do anything about it? So that when you're watching CNN and you're watching tragedy in, you know, Jordan, are you actually going to do anything about that tragedy? Or are you just watching it to pass the time? And if it's the latter, then turn it off. Here's another little test. If you're unclear on the concept of suffering in the world, then by all means watch CNN for about 3 days straight. And then turn it off. Because suffering is for real. Everything is, you know, people are suffering. They're suffering in Tucson, they're suffering in Jordan, they're suffering in Africa, they're suffering all over the place. And that's all you kind of need to know. The rest is just details. Why do you need to know the details? See. So, you know, use it as a criterion. We are living in what they call an infotainment society, where information has risen to... information is considered in two ways. One, as a good in and of itself. That there's something good in and of itself about information, about just being informed about everything. And secondly, as just a way to pass the time, as amusement, as entertainment. And the information that you're receiving in great detail about the suffering of others for your entertainment is toxic. That's a toxic way to live. And that's exactly what number 9 in the top 10 parade means. Taking your pleasure in watching other people's pain. Yeah.
In Christianity, people commonly will pray for others in situations like you're mentioning now. And I was just wondering, is there anything in Buddhism about praying or calling to a Buddha to help with world problems?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. And that changes you. You pray to the Buddhas to help, you know, in ways that they can alleviate the suffering, and that changes you. That's a very good thing to do for you. So if you're using information about other people's suffering for the opportunity for you to generate compassion, then great. That's the point. That should be the natural response to other people's suffering. That would be quite different from number 9. Taking happiness, taking like pleasure in watching other people suffer. Compassion would be the opposite of that. Yeah.
Is this course going to cover the person that walks in the door that's led a life of crime?
Yeah.
And now wants to walk the steps of enlightenment, travel the steps, I mean, is there a point at which your karma is so garbaged up? I mean, is there somewhere we're going to find out what we do for those of us that lived a pretty karmically disastrous existence?
Yeah, there's never no hope. There's never no hope. In the Buddhist tradition, they tell stories about mass murderers who got enlightened in that very lifetime. There's always the possibility of a major turnaround, but you know, it takes effort. It takes effort to turn it. It takes great desire to want to turn around your life, great desire, a great, you know, then you do the four forces, what we were talking about last week in terms of the four forces. And great regret about what you did, great restraint of ever doing that kind of thing again, and then great efforts to make up for those kinds of negative activities. But there's always hope. There's always hope. Every moment is New Year's. Every second is New Year's. Every moment is a new life, actually. Possibility of a new life. So, and here's even more good news on that, okay? Every moment we are recreating our whole karmic history. Every moment we're recreating our whole karmic history. Karma is not stored in some storehouse somewhere. It's not in like some warehouse. It's in our own present consciousness. You can say it like this. We are our past karma. Who we think we are is karma. So if you work consistently to change your idea of who you are, you're changing your karma. So if you start to see yourself as being a kind person, a nice person, a caring person, a compassionate person, you're changing your idea of who you are. And you're changing your whole karmic record as a result of that. Okay? That's a little secret, okay? Don't tell anybody I told you that.
You mentioned four forces, but you only named three.
Yeah, the first force is what they call the foundational force. It's just getting yourself back on your feet, saying, I don't want to be the kind of person that thinks of myself as being this kind of as a person who steals. See, I don't want to look at myself in the mirror and think I'm a thief. So they call it foundational force, getting back on finding your foundation. All right, so we went through the 10 misdeeds, right? I think I'm almost done with it. Oh, yeah. I was just checking. I knew that. The last one's called wrong views. Wrong views. It's the third of the misdeeds of the mind. Third major mental misdeed. Wrong views means a view that undermines all the other ones. A view that would undermine 1 through 9. So what kind of view would that be? What kind of view could you hold that would undermine the whole moral edifice? There's no relationship between my actions and repercussions. There's no, you know, if I can get away with it, then I don't pay for it. See? There's no karma. There's no what we call karma. There's no morality. There's no fixed relationship between cause and effect in the moral life. That would be a wrong view that many people seem to hold, actually, in our view. That completely undermines the whole moral system. That's kind of why we're living in the kind of shape we're in, is because that kind of wrong view has got purchase, has got some hold on all of us, and you know, some more than others. That there's no afterlife. That there's no possibility of an afterlife. You know, wrong view means you declare that as something for sure. That's the full-on wrong view. I know for sure somehow that there's no relationship between cause and effect, between my moral cause and my moral effect, and I know for sure somehow that there's no afterlife. That this life is it. You know, it's sort of like that beer commercial. You only go around once, so grab the gusto. That's a long time ago. Anybody remember that? Yeah. That dates me a little bit, because that's about how long it was since I watched TV. But yeah. So just grab the gusto. Means just like, go for it. Go for it. This is the only life there is, so just go for it. And that's gotten us into a lot of trouble. That worldview has gotten us into a lot of trouble. It explains a lot about modern America. That worldview, I think, explains a lot about modern America. That's why we don't give a shit about our actions vis-a-vis the rest of the world, actually. Because, well, you know, we're just going for it now. We're going to just live it up now. And you know, what happens next after I die? Well, who the hell cares? Right? Just going to use up the resources now. I'm just going to enjoy my life now, and I, you know, just don't care. It's a very, very serious vision. It's a very serious, you know, kind of worldview to live under. So those are the 10. Excuse my language, by the way. I'm not supposed to say words like that. Huh? Shadi's not. Well, I got a whole bunch. I got other police, so they're probably watching.
That makes me wonder, you say you're not supposed to say words. Is there teaching in Buddhism about specific profanities? Or?
Well, if it hurts them. If you're calling somebody else a word like that, yeah, that would be bad. That's harsh speech. That's a version of harsh language. I don't think I was calling anybody any names. So I think I'm okay. No, I mean, maybe people don't think I'm okay, should say things like that. Schmuck is pretty bad too, if you know what it means. Well, my teacher says that all the time, so I'm okay. Anyway, those are the 10.